Hello everyone, welcome back to Whispered Unknowns. Tonight we're diving into the disturbing truths the world tried to keep buried. These aren't just stories, they're chilling realities whispered through time. If you're listening as you drift off to sleep, leave a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. And if you're enjoying these hidden horrors, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what lurks beneath the surface. Nightmares that linger and realities that haunt. Story 1. The Endless Corridor. The nightmare returns every night, growing more vivid, more suffocating. It always begins the same. I'm in a hallway, impossibly vast, stretching beyond sight. It makes me feel tiny, like I'm lost in a labyrinth. The walls are a sickly ash color, slick with moisture as if they've been submerged for decades. Touching them sends a chill through me. They're icy, slimy. The floor is uneven, made of aged wooden boards that groan underfoot. The sound reverberating as if the hallway itself is alive, observing me. Doors line both sides, all shut except one, cracked open, revealing only darkness. I don't want to look, but an unseen force draws me in. I push the door wider. It's an empty room, yet it feels occupied, as if something unseen watches. The air is dense, like inhaling mist, carrying a stench of rotting timber and a cloying sweetness, like flowers left to rot. I retreat and continue down the corridor. At the far end, a shape emerges, a tall, shadowy silhouette, far too tall for a human, its edges hazy, like it's woven from fog. I try to flee, but my legs are sluggish, as if I'm wading through syrup. The figure doesn't walk, it glides closer. The air grows frigid, my breath fogs in front of me. My heart hammers, threatening to break free. I reach another door, slam it shut behind me, but when I turn, I'm back in the same hallway. The figure is nearer now, its low guttural noise a mocking growl, not human, as if it echoes from deep beneath the earth. I try to scream, but my throat constricts, choking on the icy air. I wake, but the nightmare lingers. My room seems normal, yet the shadows are too deep, the air feels tainted. A faint murmur drifts from the corner, so soft I almost miss it, but it's there. This isn't just a dream anymore. I started documenting it, hoping to make sense of it, but the more I write, the more I realize it's not in my head. Last night, it crossed into reality. It stood in the corner of my room watching. I couldn't move, couldn't cry out, just lay there paralyzed until dawn. I don't know how to stop it. It's growing stronger, and I fear I can't resist much longer. Story 2. The Hidden Chamber. Something bizarre happened a few nights ago. I can't explain it, but I know it's real. I was at home going about my routine when I noticed a door in the living room corner. I'd never seen it before, yet it felt familiar, like a memory from a dream. It couldn't be a closet, but I felt compelled to open it. Inside was a small room, no bigger than a pantry, yet it felt vast. The air was heavy with dust, as if sealed for years. The walls were a peeling mustard shade, and a scent hung in the air, old paper mixed with a sickly sweetness, like fruit gone bad. The floor was coated in dust, my footprints stark, as if I were the first to step inside in ages. But the room wasn't empty. It held items from my past. A childhood stuffed rabbit, a family photo from a long-ago trip, my old college yearbook. They were distorted, wrong. The rabbit's fur was patchy, one ear torn off, as if it had been buried. The photo was washed out, faces scratched beyond recognition. The yearbook was blank except for one page, a photo of me, my face smeared with dark ink, eyes hollowed out. A voice whispered my name, faint but unmistakable, echoing both inside my skull and from a distant void, repeating like a mantra. I turned to leave, but the door had vanished, the walls seamless. Panic surged, the air thinning as the room seemed to shrink. The voice grew louder, a cold presence brushing the back of my neck. I don't recall escaping. One moment I was trapped. The next I was on my living room floor as if I'd fainted. The door was gone, as if it never existed, but I know it was real. Since then I've found the rabbit on my bed, the photo wedged in my mirror, faces still scratched. The voice persists, whispering my name, waiting for my return. I don't know if I am losing my grip or if something is truly after me, but that room is real, and whatever inhabits it won't let go. Story 3. The shared nightmare. A month ago, something began haunting me and my friends, something far worse than a nightmare. It started as a dream, or so I thought. I was in a forest, but it was unnatural trees towering, their gnarled branches clawing at the sky, the air tinged a jaundiced hue. There was no sound, no birds, no breeze, just an oppressive silence. Then I saw it, a figure between the trees, a faceless shadow staring. It glided closer, not walking, an icy chill enveloping me. I tried to run, but my legs were rooted, growing heavier the more I struggled. It reached out and I woke, soaked in sweat, the feeling of being watched lingering. I thought it was just a bad dream until I spoke to my friends Lila, Ethan, and Nora. We'd all had the same vision, the forest, the figure, the suffocating dread. We laughed it off at first, blaming a shared scary story, but the dream returned nightly, the figure drawing closer each time. It wasn't just a dream anymore. We noticed Mark's faint scratches on our skin upon waking, the scent of wet soil in our rooms. Then Ethan didn't wake up. We found him still in bed, lifeless. Doctors called it a heart attack, but I know it was the figure it took him in the dream. We tried to fight it, staying awake, thinking it couldn't reach us if we didn't sleep. But exhaustion always wins. We slept together, hoping safety in numbers, but the dream isolated us. Last night it was Lila's turn. We were in one room, but in the dream, I was alone in the forest, hearing her screams, unable to find her. The figure held her limp form, not a branch, but Lila, motionless. I woke. Lila was still in the room, but unresponsive. She's in a coma now, doctors baffled. I know the figure has her. It's coming for me next. I feel it even when awake, waiting for me to sleep. How do you fight something that thrives in your dreams, that knows your deepest fears? I don't know if anyone will believe me, but it's real, and it won't stop until we're all gone. Story 4. Layers of Illusion. A few nights ago, reality began to blur in a way I can't explain. Each time I think I've woken up, I'm still dreaming, and it's getting darker, more distorted. It began with what seemed like a normal dream. I was in my house, but the lights were too harsh. The walls a pale, sickly green. In the kitchen, the clock on the wall ticked backward, numbers spinning faster as I stared. A voice whispered my name, soft but persistent. I woke, or thought I did. I was in my bed, sunlight filtering through the window, but the bedside clock was also ticking backward, and the voice continued. I tried to move, but my body wouldn't respond, a crushing weight pinning me. I woke again, this time in my living room. The TV blared static, the noise piercing, the screen flashing distorted images, unfamiliar faces, unknown places. I reached for the remote, but it didn't work. In the screen's reflection, a figure stood behind me, watching. I spun around, nothing. I woke again, but my bedroom was wrong. Walls etched with strange runes, the air reeking of charred rubber. The voice grew louder. No longer just my name, it spoke secrets I'd never shared, truths I'd buried. I tried to scream, but no sound came. My body felt foreign. I woke yet again, in an unfamiliar place, a hospital, but warped, walls too tight, the floor slanted as if sinking. Flickering lights cast eerie shadows, a deep rasping breath echoing. At the hallway's end stood the figure, not a shadow this time, but me, a twisted mirror of myself. I've lost count of how many times I've woken. Each time, I think it's real, until something betrays the illusion. The clock, the voice, the figure, always closer. The dreams grow more sinister, and I don't know what it wants. Am I still dreaming, or is this reality? What if I'm the figure, hunting myself? I can't tell what's real, and I fear I'll never escape. Story 5. The Journal of Manifested Fears. I'm a horror writer, and for months I battled writer's block, unable to conjure new ideas. A few weeks ago I started a dream journal, noting every detail of my dreams each morning, hoping to spark creativity. At first it seemed harmless, but then the dreams began to bleed into reality. The first entry was a car accident. I drove down a deserted road at night when a fox darted out. I swerved, crashed into a ditch and woke just before impact, heart pounding. I wrote it down, thinking nothing of it. Days later, driving back from the store, it happened. A fox, the swerve, the crash. I escaped with minor scrapes, but the coincidence unnerved me. I brushed it off as a fluke until the next dream of fire. I was in my kitchen, cooking, when the stove ignited, flames spreading uncontrollably. I woke in a panic, recorded it, and tried to move on. A week later, my stove caught fire while I cooked, mirroring the dream. I extinguished it in time, but I couldn't deny the pattern. I grew paranoid, stopped writing in the journal, hoping it would break the cycle. It didn't. The dreams intensified, more vivid, more real. A man watching through my window. A phone call from a stranger who knew my secrets. A shadowy figure trailing me at night. Each came true. I burned the journal in my fireplace, desperate to end it, but the dreams persisted, growing darker. Last night's was the worst. I stood before a mirror, my reflection not my own, but a grotesque, shadowed version. It grinned and stepped out, saying, "You summoned me. I've always been in your dreams, your stories, your mind." I woke screaming. What if it's true? What if I've written it into being? I don't know how to stop it, and the next dream might be my last. Story 6. The dream experiment gone wrong. It began as a simple sleep study, a chance to contribute to science. They called it the Somnus Project, aiming to map brain activity during sleep to record dreams. Volunteers were promised compensation and a role in groundbreaking research. They didn't warn us the tech was untested, that it could trap us in our own minds. The first night felt off. Wires and electrodes covered us, monitors humming as we were told to relax and sleep naturally. The air was cold, heavy, pressing down as I drifted off. I found myself in my childhood home, but it was wrong. Walls draped in tattered, moldy fabric, the air thick with decay. In the dining room, a figure stood in the shadows, watching. It wasn't human, too tall, too still, its presence chilling. I couldn't move, couldn't scream as it glided closer, the air growing colder. I woke, or thought I did, still in the lab, but the monitors were off, the room silent. The figure was there, closer now, its gaze piercing. I realized I was still dreaming, trapped in a loop, each awakening, drawing the figure nearer. The researchers couldn't wake us. Some volunteers never emerged, stuck in comas. I escaped, but the figure lingers in my dreams, and I fear it's not done with me. Haunted dreams and a world asleep story. The shared torment. I couldn't discern its face, but I felt its sinister grin. It began to move, not walking, but gliding, as if it existed beyond reality, drawing nearer. I jolted awake, drenched in sweat. The others, Lila, Ethan, and Nora, were already awake, their expressions mirroring my dread. They'd seen something too. Lila described a forest chase, fleeing an unseen terror. Ethan spoke of a shrinking room trapping him. Nora stayed silent, trembling, her eyes hollow as if words failed her. We reported it to the researchers, but they dismissed it as a normal adjustment to the tech, urging us to continue. We did, and the second night brought worse visions. I returned to the house, the figure closer, whispering my name, the air so cold my breath clouded. Lila recounted a shadowy beast with luminous eyes pursuing her. Ethan described drowning in an abyss of dark water. Nora remained mute, but her terror was palpable. By the third night, we knew something was gravely wrong. The dreams were linked. We were in a distorted lab version, walls etched with cryptic runes, air heavy with a cloying sweet rot. The figure watched, smiling, and we couldn't wake. Trapped in this shared nightmare, it hunted us. Lila vanished into the shadows, her screams echoing as we searched in vain. Ethan fought but was overpowered. Nora surrendered, approaching it as if defeat was inevitable. I don't know how I escaped or if I'm truly awake. The researchers claimed the study succeeded, collecting data but wouldn't disclose the others' fates, saying they withdrew. I know better, they're still ensnared. The figure lingers, watching even now, waiting for me to sleep again. I don't know how to end this, but I fear the next sleep might be my last. Story 8. The Dream Thief. A few weeks ago, something inexplicable began, which I initially chalked up to stress waking with no memory of dreams. But it wasn't just me. It spread to everyone. People awoke feeling hollow, as if something vital was stolen, their dreams erased no matter how they tried to recall. Soon it escalated creativity, drive, identity slipped away, leaving a numbing void. Rumors emerged of the dream thief, a faceless, towering shadow glimpsed in dreams before everything faded to blankness. I dismissed it as folklore until it struck me. In a dream I can't recall, I saw the figure at its edge, watching, then reaching out. Darkness swallowed me. Waking, I felt robbed, a piece of myself torn away. Determined, I researched dreams, the subconscious and dream world entry methods, discovering a risky technique blending meditation, lucid dreaming, and experimental supplements. I took the plunge, closing my eyes, focusing on my breath, and slipped into the dream realm. It was surreal, colors too bright, shapes distorted, air thick with an odd sweetness. There stood the dream thief, its face a void. Its voice, omnipresent yet nowhere, warned, "You shouldn't be here." The ground writhed beneath me as it explained. It wasn't just stealing dreams, but fragments of hopes, fears, and memories, feeding on them to grow stronger, a practice spanning centuries. I don't know how I escaped or if I'm truly awake, but the thief persists. It's waiting, knowing I'm the only one to challenge it, and I feel compelled to try again. I don't know if I can face it, but if I don't, it'll consume everything from me, from everyone. Story 9. The Nightmare Curse. A few weeks ago, after visiting a museum exhibit on ancient relics, my life changed. One artifact, a weathered mask, cracked and inscribed with odd symbols, drew me in. Compelled, I touched it briefly. And that night, the worst nightmare struck. I was in a forest, but it was warped trees unnaturally tall, branches clawing at me, the sky a sickly amber, silent as a tomb. A figure loomed between the trees, a faceless shadow, its gaze piercing. It glided closer, and I woke, sweat-soaked, the room feeling occupied. It repeated nightly, the same figure, the same hunted sensation. I tried altering my routine, skipping meals, even using sleeping pills. Nothing stopped it. The dreams grew vivid, leaving scratches on my arms or a damp earth scent in my room. Soon I glimpsed it awake, lurking in shadows. Desperate, I sought a dream therapist who wasn't shocked. They revealed the mask's curse, an ancient ritual to trap souls in nightmares, originally to punish grave robbers, now feeding on fear. Breaking it required repeating the ritual with a sacrifice. I'm torn, I can't live like this, but the cost is steep. The figure nears, even awake, waiting for me to surrender. I don't know if I'll break free or if I want to, but it won't relent, and if I don't act, it'll claim me. Story 10. The Dream Apocalypse. Months ago, reports of comas surfaced, sporadic at first, then engulfing cities. People fell asleep, trapped in a shared nightmare dubbed the Dream Plague. Alive but lost in a dark, terrifying realm, they never awoke. I thought I was safe until I slept and entered the nightmare. The sky glowed a deep crimson, the ground cracked and desolate, ruins of skyscrapers and overturned vehicles strewn about, the air thick with a metallic tang of blood and rust. Silence reigned, no birds, no wind, just emptiness. Then the sleepers' hollow-eyed figures standing motionless. A low growl broke the quiet, and I turned to see it. A towering, smoky figure at the street's end, gliding toward me. I woke in a panic, but my family, friends, neighbors, everyone was asleep, unresponsive. Unlike them, I could wake, moving between dream and reality, compelling me to act. I researched dreams and the subconscious, finding a method: meditation, lucid dreaming, and experimental drugs to enter the nightmare. I focused, slipped in, and faced a surreal world, overly vivid, colors warped, air sweet and heavy. The figure stood ahead, no longer just a shadow. It's my burden to stop this, to wake the world, but I don't know how or if I'll survive the next encounter. Shadows of dreams and unseen threats. Story 11. The Dream Plague Unleashed. Its face wasn't a face, just a void, an abyss of nothingness. When it spoke, its voice was unnatural, echoing from all directions, yet nowhere at once. "You shouldn't be here," it hissed. I tried to flee, but the ground beneath me writhed as if alive, thwarting my escape. The figure stood, observing my struggle, then revealed its nature. It wasn't merely a nightmare, but a contagion, a plague that thrived on terror, despair, and humanity's darkest impulses. It had been growing, spreading, devouring all in its path, and now it was nearly unstoppable. I don't know how I escaped, or if I'm truly awake, but the figure persists, lurking. It won't cease, it will feed and expand until nothing remains. Worse, I feel it beckoning me back, knowing I'm the only one who can challenge it, and it's certain I'll try. I'm torn, I don't know if I can face it again, but I must, or it will consume everything, not just from me, but from all. Story 12. The Dream Collector's Legacy. I started working as an assistant to a reclusive painter, renowned yet enigmatic, living in a secluded manor. Their art was mesmerizing, eerie, surreal, unlike anything I'd seen. They claimed their works were born from dreams, sketched each morning, and brought to life on canvas. Initially, I thought it was their creative method, but then I noticed oddities. The paintings shifted colors, morphed, shapes stirred, and faint murmurs seemed to emanate from them. I stayed silent, fearing I'd sound unhinged, until the artist vanished without a trace, no note, no reason. Behind a studio bookcase, I found a hidden room, drawn to it by an unseen pull. Inside were dozens of paintings, darker and more twisted than the others, alive with a palpable energy. The air was heavy, breathing difficult, and the canvases flickered with subtle movements, shadows darting, forms shifting. They weren't mere paintings, but portals into the artist's dreams, or something sinister. One depicted a forest, unnatural trees towering, branches clawing sky a sickly amber, silent. A shadowy figure stood among the trees, watching, gliding closer. I couldn't look away. The painting ensnared me, pulling me into the forest. The air chilled, the ground felt like ash, and the figure whispered my name, drawing nearer. I don't know how I broke free, or if I'm truly awake, but the artist wasn't just capturing dreams, they were harvesting them. Now they're gone, yet the paintings remain alive, dangerous. I must stop them, or they'll take everything, not just from me, but from everyone. Story 13. The Dream Enforcers. I am a detective in a world where dreams are not private. They were monitored by the Dream Enforcers, a unit called the Shadow Guard, claiming to prevent crime by policing thoughts. They insist it's for safety, but I've always questioned it. A new case emerged, a string of deaths in sleep, starting with a man, Nathan Cole, found dead with no struggle, no cause, just gone. The Shadow Guard ES dream logs showed him chased by a shadowy figure before the feed cut out. They called it a glitch. I wasn't convinced. More died, each log showing the same: a shadowy pursuer, a chase, then nothing. The guard labeled it a dream glitch, but I dug deeper, uncovering a pattern. Each victim had been flagged for disruptive dreaming, thoughts deemed threatening to the system. My superiors ordered me to drop it, but I went rogue, hacking into the guard's database. I uncovered a conspiracy. They weren't just monitoring dreams, they were manipulating them, targeting dissenters for elimination, driven by a darker agenda. The figure in the logs isn't a glitch, it's real, and now it's after me. I must stop it, or it will erase everything, not just me, but all who resist. Story 14. The Dream Parasite. A few weeks ago, a dream began too real to dismiss. I was in a forest, but it was wrong trees unnaturally tall, branches grasping, sky a pale yellow, silent. A shadowy figure watched from the trees, gliding closer. I woke, heart racing, the room feeling occupied, though nothing was there. I told myself it was a nightmare, but it recurred nightly. The same figure, the same hunted sensation. I tried altering my routine, avoiding food before bed, even using sleep aids. Nothing worked. The dreams intensified, leaving scratches on my skin, a scent of wet soil in my room, and glimpses of the figure while awake, lurking in shadows. Desperate, I visited a dream specialist. They weren't surprised, revealing a parasite that feeds on fear, invading dreams to grow stronger, nearing escape into reality. The only way to stop it: confront it, face the fear head on. I don't know if I can, but I must, or it will consume everything, not just me, but all it touches. Story 15. The Dream Haunt. My family moved into a new house for a fresh start, more space, a quiet area, an escape from city stress. From the first night, something felt off. I dreamt of the house, but distorted walls too tight, air thick, a hallway echoing with faint whispers. A shadowy figure stood at the end, gliding closer. I woke, sweat-soaked, the room feeling watched, though empty. The dream repeated nightly, and soon my wife and kids shared it. The same hallway figure whispers. We'd wake screaming simultaneously. We tried changing routines, skipping meals, using sleep aids. Nothing stopped it. The dreams grew vivid, leaving scratches, a damp earth smell in the house, and sightings of the figure while awake, lurking. Research revealed the house's dark history, built on the site of a shuttered asylum where dream experiments drove patients mad, killing them in sleep. The nightmares survived, now haunting us. We must stop it, or it will take us all, not just my family, but anyone who dwells here. Story 16. The Dream Reflector. At an antique shop, a dusty, ornate mirror caught my eye, its hypnotic allure undeniable. I bought it, and soon noticed anomalies. My reflection showed a shadow behind me, vanishing when I turned. Then came a dream. I stood before the mirror, but my reflection was a dark, twisted version of me, reaching out. I woke, dismissing it, but the dream recurred, the figure nearing each time, leaving scratches, a scent of wet soil, and sightings of the shadow awake, watching. Research revealed the mirror as a gateway to a dream realm, the figure real and trying to cross over. I must stop it, or it will take everything, not just me, but all in its path. Story 17. The Dream Sect. I was assigned to investigate a group called the Dream Spinners, a cult using dreams to connect with a dark entity. They didn't fit typical cult stereotypes, no robes, no chants, but their leader, Marcus Kane, claimed to manipulate dreams, communing with a dream entity. I thought it was a hoax until I dreamt of a warped forest, tall trees clawing branches, amber sky silent. A shadowy figure watched, gliding closer. The dream repeated, the hunted feeling intensifying. I confronted Kane, who revealed the dreams as a gateway to the entity's realm, the figure real and crossing over. I must stop it, or it will take everything, not just me, but everyone. Echoes of the haunted haven. The house seemed ideal, at least. That's what Emma told herself as she stood in the shadowy living room, surrounded by unopened boxes. The realtor had dubbed it a charming fixer-upper with history, but Emma saw it as a new beginning for her family. Her husband James had been wary, sensing an unease about the place, though even he couldn't dispute the bargain price. Their 7-year-old daughter Mia had been thrilled from the moment they arrived, twirling on the wild front yard and calling it a palace. Emma had chuckled, but as the sun sank and the house groaned unsettlingly, a chill crept over her. It began with the murmurs. Tucking Mia into bed, Emma noticed her daughter bolt upright, eyes locked on the wall. "Mom, do you hear that?" Mia whispered, trembling. Emma listened initially, only the wind's soft hum, then a faint, indistinct mumble, like voices just beyond reach. "It's just the house settling," Emma said with a forced grin, though Mia insisted, "It sounds like people talking." Emma kissed her forehead and dimmed the light, but as she left, the murmurs seemed to trail her down the hall. Over the next few days, the sounds intensified. James heard them first, freezing while repairing a dripping faucet in the basement. "Emma, come here," he called, voice strained. She rushed down to find him pale, staring at the wall. The murmurs were there, low, overlapping voices, words unclear. "Maybe it's the wind," she suggested, unconvinced. James wasn't swayed. He spent days poring over historical records and news clippings, uncovering a chilling truth. The last occupants, a family of 5, had vanished without a trace. Police found no evidence of foul play, and the case remained unsolved. "We need to leave," James urged that night, voice quaking. "This house isn't safe." Emma resisted. "We can't abandon it, we've invested everything." The crisis hit a week later. Emma awoke to an empty bed. Mia was gone. Panicked, she followed her daughter's voice to the basement, finding Mia before a plain wall, eerily calm. "They're in there," Mia said. "Who's in there, sweetheart?" Emma asked, heart racing. Mia pressed her hand against the wall and a hidden door groaned open, revealing a dusty chamber. The walls bore strange markings, the floor scattered with faded photos and diaries. Emma opened a journal, its contents turning her stomach. The house had once housed a sect that believed they could imprison souls within its structure. The previous family had uncovered this and tried to reveal it, only to be silenced, their spirits trapped with others. The murmurs were the soul's pleas for freedom. Emma and James resolved to flee, but the house resisted. As they packed, the murmurs swelled into a deafening chorus, walls seeming to constrict, shadows writhing like entities. Their cat, Luna, barked fiercely at the wall, then fell silent, gone when Emma turned. "We have to get out," James yelled, clutching Mia's hand, but the door wouldn't budge. In desperation, Emma followed a ritual from a diary, lighting candles and chanting. The house trembled, murmurs turned to wails, cracks spiderwebbed the walls, and a blinding light erupted. They escaped just as the structure collapsed into rubble. They relocated, but the ordeal left scars. Mia occasionally heard faint murmurs, though she stayed silent about them. Emma and James struggled to move forward, the night's memory lingering. Years later, as an adult, Mia visited the site with her own family. The land where the house stood was barren, lifeless, as if cursed. Driving away, a whisper reached her. "We're still here.